Viking Son says, keep him accountable for everything that he's done. Oh, I am. I absolutely am. You know I am. Without doubt. Okay. Looks like Popeye just started on schedule. Popeye just started a simulcast. How predictable is that? Hello, Robert. I guess it would be a good evening to you, Robert. I can think of three people that have at least close to the capability of writing that. Patch 46 says, AI wrote it. I am surprised he figured out how to do that. Yeah, AI wrote it. Speaking of I don't know how people think that's a great thing. Like news articles, you can read them for real. If you ever go into Facebook feeds and so forth, and you're going to see all these stories that, people just write up and they use AI in creating this stuff. I mean, you used to be able to read the newspaper and it was real what you read. There's so much on the internet now that you can't take it as real. You can't take it as somebody reporting something that's real, and they'll embellish it with uh, voices and other things that are sometimes very obvious to some people and not obvious to some. AI is not the greatest thing in the world that's ever happened, and they're pushing AI. I don't understand why they're pushing AI so much in the world, especially in the United States. You can't believe any of the stories on those feeds that you read anymore. They're all bullshit. Oh, yeah, the giant woman, she's like 10 foot tall. And it looks very good, very real. You can't believe anything on the internet anymore. Used to be good old days when reporters put out stories and stuff and you could believe it. There's no such thing as AI or anything related to that, CIG or whatever you call it. Pat says that, oh, AI wrote it. I'm surprised he figured out how to do that. Now, Barry doesn't, he's lucky he could even speak his own name, nevertheless, to write something out like that. You got to think, who's your haters out there the most? I mean, the real haters. That would be Brevis. Brevis is the one that has close contact with Barry and seems to be, well, although he's a rascal, I don't believe he really supports Barry, but he wants to make it seem like he is to get Barry's confidence. Yeah. And to get on camera, Brevis. He's got to get that attention. That's Brevis. Who's the very people on here that are constants? That would be Don C, and that would be Brevis, Don C, and Brevis, and Popeye. Although Popeye is not that intellectual, actually, but he's certainly above the level of Barry. But he has the capability of writing that up. More so Don C, but also I bore the direction of Don C and Brevis. Not that I think they're big intellects, but they could use a little flowery language here and there. I have the capability of doing so. But no, Barry would not have that capability. Admittedly, dropping out of school at an early age. Okay, I'll let you guys talk for a little bit. So keep that in mind, Barry, although you thought that was very funny to post it, or somehow in your sick mind that it was advantageous to you, it's exactly the opposite. You're brain dead, dude. Absolutely fucking brain dead. It doesn't work for you, it works against you. Well, if Gilda was out of bed, I'd just use her phone and I'll just read it on there. But until she's out of bed, best thing you could do is go over to Barry's channel and under posts and just read what was written on there. Sorry, I'm a little preoccupied. I'm just letting you guys kind of hone in on this and write your thoughts and whatever. I'm gonna just sit here and talk to myself. If you want to write something, I'll answer to it while I'm attending to something else. Oh, one other thing, Popeye. If I had to say who was the biggest coward on here, surprisingly, it wouldn't be Barry. It would be you. I think at the top of the list. Because you sit there in the comfort of your basement or living room, wherever you broadcast from, figuring how many thousands of miles separate us. Your protective environment. Again, how many times you went into hiding when somebody was getting close to being in Florida and had a threat to you. You went into hiding, dude. And I remember several times you went into hiding. You're actually one of the biggest cowards actually on here, Robert. You are. You're a pipsqueak with a big mouth, hiding in the shadows. Just preparing a little bit of cereal in here. Valentine's Day coming up here. What are you doing for your girlfriend there, Barry? How about you, Popeye? What are you doing for your girlfriend? Oh, I forgot. You don't have one. How many years now? And count. Damn, we got a wet, blustery morning here on the island. It's not true. I think I'm his romantic interest. Something going on with that. How obsessed he is with me. Besides his right hand, yeah. Country Road. Popeye hasn't had a partner since around the time he lied about his wife's death. Talk about pathetic. Yeah, he did lie about his wife's death. She never died. She just left his sorry ass and found a gentleman to marry. Now she has a successful little business going, selling food and whatnot. Oh, gee, I'm glad I had a little cereal left, enough to make a bowl, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to make this morning. A little early to eat, but that was quite an interesting posting on there, Barry. I don't know what they call that legally. Intellectual property, because he posted on his channel. But there's no intellect with Barry at all. Obviously, he didn't write that, but still, he did. Country Road says Popeye ran home to his mommy's house, still lives there to this day. Yeah, his mother, Jean. His mother, Jean. My Popeye is your mother's name, Jean. He inherited the house. He would never have been able to bought a house in Florida anyway. It's not a fancy house. I've seen a picture on it, but there's nothing, as they say, to write mom home about. But he doesn't have a mother to write home about. Good morning, sweetie. Can you do me a favor? I want to read something out. Can you go to Barry's channel and you want to hit where it says posts? And Barry posted something on there that he obviously couldn't write himself, but there's even a threat against you in there. So I want you to go to the channel, go to where it says posts. Country Road says in a few years it'll be Popeye's 40th anniversary of not visiting the Philippines. Weird, right? I think he's afraid to. He's made too many enemies out here. Did you find it yet?
This one at Kiwi.
Yeah, okay, here, good. I can read this now on her phone. Let me put this over here and I'll read it. Okay, this is what was posted on Barry's channel 12 hours ago. And it's like, basically Travel America to at Kiwi in the Philippines. 16 hours edited. Frank, this monologue is proof positive that you are a bitter, twisted, and small minded loser. You say your glory days were when the rat was arrested, meaning Barry, but it is you who is the rat. Whether or not you paid bribes to push the case forward and proper, you got a comma, that's not Barry's writing, forward is likely to never come out, comma. Barry wouldn't do that. But your assurances that you did not is the least reliable of assurances, self serving at best, and likely just another one of your half truths and lies. So you made so much fuss and bother that people finally took action and came down on Barry, the nemesis of your life, the competent and successful blogger that you never were, the competent and successful. I didn't know Barry was a competent and successful blogger. That's where the humor comes in, but it gets bad. You say that Barry made shows saying certain things, and then you claim you cannot be held accountable for things you have said because you hide like a little boy and snipe facelessly from the shadows. It's contradictory, Frank, that you get cover from that, but other people don't. Barry certainly doesn't have any outstanding charges for illegal abusive behavior with minors and judgments against him for that. No, that's you, Frank, isn't it you? And it's you who conveniently provided proof that you go around filming down little girls' clothing. Not Barry, but you, Frank. I'm laughing at you, Frank Battaglia, small minded, no life adulterer, bitter and twisted old man. Who does that sound, the writing sound like? Okay. Hypochondriac and decidedly, suspiciously behaving creep hanging around minor children. Your claim to have, this is long, your claim to have an achievement by venting your frustration at Barry's superior YouTube channel by getting personal vengeance through this saga is pretty jealousy, like the ugly, sick failure that you are. Me, I'm praying for the day that Jimmy files charges against you and Gilda, her for adultery and you for concubinage, or whatever they charge the third infringing party with. That would surely peeve you immensely. I'm not, however, hoping that someone takes your threats against Barry's life seriously. And yes, we have seen and heard your threats against him. I fear that some deluded person will decide you are worth the time and effort to rub out. Clearly, from your lifestyle of hiding away, you also live in fear of that. But I think any truly vindictive vigilante looking to cause you pain might take a leaf from your small-minded behavior and wipe out your partner in crime. Here we go. Wipe out your partner in crime instead. That would surely pickle your juices, wouldn't it, Frank? Let's hope no one goes after either you or Gilda. In summary, you are the maggot on the shit. I think I know who wrote. You're a maggot on the shit that the dead rat squirted out as it's breathed its last breath. Lowest of the lowest losers and least creative seeker of vengeance we've ever seen. Not to mention your sad sack, piss poor photos and your claims to be involved in other people's dramatic work. What a loser, Frank. Your glory moment worthless, just like the rest of your life. I'm beginning to think your mother abused you as a child. No one likes you, Frank Battaglia. This is to the show this to the judge. Very interesting. It sounds like Popeye, who's simulcasting this. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like Popeye. Because Popeye is a little coward in the background who records all this shit and voices out his opinion on just about everything when it comes to me. Because he figures he can't be touched, like he's the untouchable. And he's actually talked about that. I can say anything I want because I'm in the United States and you can't touch me. Now, what was that? Was the change, Popeye? Again, repeating myself, but there were several incidents in the past with somebody that did not like you, and there were many who were going to come over there to Florida and approach you, and you got off YouTube for quite a long period of time. But how's your memory on that, Robert? How's your memory on that? At Pennywise. What Pennywise? Said at Kiwi in the Philippines. At Kiwi in the Philippines. Oh, okay, I see. That is I'm reading a posting on Barry's Travel America channel when it says post. And that's what's on there. That's where I'm reading it from. Now, as I said, if you just tuned in, if it's posted on your channel and it's Travel America at Kiwi in the Philippines, but it don't matter. It's directed to me, obviously. I don't know. I just really don't know the proper name for that. You call that his intellectual property. It was on his channel, posted on his channel by him, because he's the only one that can post on his own channel. Okay. So he basically took this statement from somebody else and posted it on there. And one would think that Brevis would be a proper culprit in this because he works very closely together with Brevis. Brevis is the only one that's seemingly really, in his own sick way, supporting Barry. Yeah. Country Road says, Popeye is a coward. He likes surrounding himself with its sheep. He makes them all feel like they have friends in real life. One big circle jerk. Nah, none of these people have any true friends. I remember all these guys with Al and Popeye and all that. They were all at each other's throat at one point or another. I clearly remember that. Even Roberta, they were all at odds with each other. God, how many times did that happen? They were all at odds with each other. Oh, he is a coward. There's no question about it. Oh, yeah, he's simulcasting me right now, as usual. But I guess the point I'm trying to make, even if Barry did not write that himself, which he does not have the capability of writing that. Not that I think it's so intellectual, the writing. It's just above Barry's ability to write this, but it still puts the responsibility on him as if he wrote it himself from his own channel, mind you now. It wasn't smart. Well, Barry figured he doesn't have that ability to write like that. So he figures, well, let me use this. Well, everybody knows that he does not have that ability of writing like that, but he'll certainly accept somebody else's writing and post it on there as if it's his own. Pretty sick, huh? Oh, believe me, I would love to have the opportunity to meet Popeye eye to eye. Oh, I'm not shitting you about that. I would love to have the opportunity. Or maybe, well, I'm not even going to finish that statement, actually. But Popeye has run away from a lot of people. He's a little old man who's frustrated because there's no longer on TV and has used YouTube as his new soap opera. And he lives for drama, which he finds on YouTube, which occupies a lot of his time. Just to tell you what, to put his little skits together. But he's been reusing his old shit anyways because it becomes so boring. But it takes time to do that. If he's got that much time on his hands, he's probably in the basement somewhere, and I don't think his daughter, who I believe lives there, whatsoever what he does. He's that creep that sits in the dark with the light of the screen of his computer and writes off all this. There's a dead spot back here. All right, we're back. I've yet to put his pictures on there, though. I've just been too late. Yeah, I've got pictures of Popeye on, too. And the picture I have of Dawn is actually not a current photo, but even so, it's not current. I mean, he looks like he's about 80 years old. You know, Popeye brain cells, actually. So, Barry, let me ask you a question. What did you feel that you accomplished by posting that on your? How do you feel that has helped you in any way? Oh, I know, voicing out. See, Barry doesn't have the capability of writing. Yeah, RR has moved on with their lives, yet Popeye's still around. One trick pony. Yeah, a one trick pony. There you go. Well said. Like I said, in life, you draw your own lines of what's acceptable and not. I can't tell you how anxious I am to get these court proceedings going. You have no idea. My turn for me to get on the witness stand. And boy, whatever I'm allowed to touch upon, well, of course, my attorney will ask me questions. Then his attorney, whatever he has, or maybe Barry himself will cross-examine me. Now that's something to put on video. That would be something to see. Boy, I know you guys would pay to see something like that. I know you would. There you go. But what he puts on his show is all his responsibility. But he's too stupid to comprehend this. He's just too stupid to comprehend it. He doesn't have the ability to do so. Not in the least. How does that help you, Barry? How does that help you, Barry? You're right, Jerry. I don't see how that helps him. Oh, I'll continue with the Seinfeld stuff because I love it, because that whole show was a reflection of real life with people and stupidity of people, and how they presented it on the Seinfeld show was incredible. Even though the particular little spiel that I've been playing around with really had to do with Jim Carrey's little play up on Jerry Seinfeld. Can I bring that? No, I can't bring that up on here. Where is it? Yeah, I gotta fix the little bugaboos on my second phone here. Let's see. I'm going to try something here. No. I'm not speaking into the mic on here. Just simple Google something here. Okay. Impressions. Jerry Seinfeld. I got it. This is entitled Jim Carrey, Jerry Seinfeld in the Ghetto. I want you guys to look at this or listen to this because it's funny than shit. It's funny than shit. You ready for this? Oh, God. See, every fucking time. It's asking me to update my app. The update is available with new features, a faster experience, blah, blah. Okay, update. Okay, and trying to get me to pay for this shit. Yeah, I told you, I got some bugaboos on this phone that I haven't straightened out. I don't know why I couldn't, but hey, here's what you got to do. Just look under, and please do this for me because I think you're going to have your own laugh. Just punch in on Google. That's all you need to do. Jim Carrey's impression of Jerry Seinfeld. It's entitled "In the Ghetto." And when you get a chance to see that, come back and tell me if you thought that's not the funniest thing you've seen in a long time. Country Road says Barry's fans that egg him on don't realize they make his situation so much worse. Well, that's what I've been saying all along. Exactly. It's called In the Ghetto. Jim Carrey in the Ghetto. Try punching that in and see what you come up with. It's rather good. Just won't allow me to bring it up on here. I pushed this a lot with the Jerry Seinfeld thing because the one thing about the Seinfeld show, it was really a reflection of life. It's life imitating art or art imitating life, according how you want to really look at it. And Seinfeld had that ability. Well, he wrote, along with David, wrote a lot of these episodes with Larry David. And I must say that Seinfeld is probably the funniest show I've ever seen on TV. It's too bad they can't do any more contemporary, modern day version of the Seinfeld show. I still think people would take to it. Their lives after jail, their lives as where they are today, and what transpired. Like, did Jerry ever get married? And what happened with Kramer? Did Elaine ever get married? What happened with George? Did he ever find the perfect woman that didn't mind how neurotic he was? And that would be an excellent series if they could continue something like that. In my opinion, anyway. You got to be a Seinfeld fan to appreciate. I used to look forward to all those shows. I used to watch all their repeats too, but can't find it on here. But I suppose if I punched it in on YouTube or something, I don't know. Do you realize that Seinfeld makes $60 million a year just from all the reruns and all the residuals? $60 million without doing anything at all. I mean, without lifting his finger. And that doesn't account for any other possible stand-ups that he might still be doing or any other ventures he's involved with. $60 million a year for doing nothing. Ain't that amazing? And there's a lot of stars that maybe are not doing much material because they don't have to. That if you had a successful TV show or something, that they're living, let's call it the coattails of their success in the past, are living off these residuals that they don't have to work. Michael Richards, which is Kramer, he had that incident when he was doing a stand-up and I don't know, made a racist comment or something to that effect. But Michael Richards is not hurting at all. He makes money from the residuals. He doesn't have to work. So even though a lot of these actors love to get a good movie role and they can make a one-time shot on that, unless, I don't know, it's sold to Netflix or something, and maybe they can make something on that too. But generally, I think a lot of these actors make a lot of money from TV shows that became very successful and were syndicated. And if they were syndicated, they're making money off the residuals. What's that one show with the nerds? One of the dudes is in jail now for, I don't know, raping women or something. Danny, what's his name? It's very lucrative business if you can become successful in there. It can be so lucrative that you don't have to do another day of acting in your life if you had just one successful television show. And to live off the residuals on there, that's pretty incredible stuff. Although it seems better under their belt if they actually been doing a lot of movies. You know, you get a one-time payment on that. But I believe if the movies are used, such as bought by Netflix or something, that I think there might be other money involved in there. I don't know all the technicalities of that, and don't pretend to, but I think it would be. Country Road, the one show with the nerds. You mean a Popeye live stream? Yeah. Well, I may not maybe remember the name of a show because maybe I didn't watch it very often. It becomes just distant in my memory because these guys are all fucking scientists and shit. And what the hell's the name of that damn show? And Danny, what do you call the actor? And he's in jail now because he, I don't know, accused of raping women and some shit like that. The same character that played, on the '70s show, whose life is now totally ruined and probably now broke because of all the money he had to put out for attorneys and so forth. Danny Masterson, or Master John, Danny Masterson. And he played on the '70s show. Then later on, I'm trying to think the name of the title of that show. I know all the characters in there, but I forgot the name of the show. And believe it or not, some of the characters there are quite intellectual. The chick who plays in that show, and she has a name that most people don't remember. Maliam, I can't even pronounce her name. She actually is into brain science or something like that. She actually is a scientist. I mean, amazing, but true. Big Bang Theory. Thank you very much. Big Bang Theory. The people on that show have made buku bucks. Buku bucks. And also the cast of the Friends show. The show called Friends. The one actor did die, but Jennifer Aniston and the rest of them, they're making buku money from the residuals on there. Nah, I never really watched Big Bang Theory in any regularity at all. I've seen their, repeats. I never really watched it while it was in its prime on TV, but I've seen numerous shows later on. Yeah, Big Bang Theory. They're rolling in cash. So there you go. You have one successful TV show that gets syndicated, and you're in like Flynn. They don't have to work a day in their life if they don't want to. They don't need to. It'd be great to be in that position, that big of a position. But some people will settle for just doing a YouTube channel where they get on and they simulcast somebody and they get their jollies from there. That's their success or lack of, better put, lack of success. Oh, forgot I got this fresh bread that was brought over yesterday. It's not the rye bread I wanted, but I don't know if I'll ever get that again. But friend of my girlfriend said she didn't give us it. We bought it from them, but they came over and had the bread. They know that I bought it from them last time. They decided to make a batch of that to sell and came over and it's about 1, 2, 3, 4. Jesus Christ, how many loaves? 1, 2, I don't know, about 5 loaves of that. So I gave one to my neighbor. Can't eat all that bread. It's not good to eat it anyway, that much. But fresh bread out of the oven, I mean, there's nothing better than that. And some people live on bread. They're that impoverished. I mean, even a fresh piece of bread, even with no butter, is sustenance, no matter how you look at it. It's just the way rice is to 75% of the world. Rice is gold. But anyway, I've read what was written on Barry's channel there. It's all your responsibility, Barry. You take on responsibility for that statement on there. I don't understand where it was directed at Kiwi in the Philippines. I'm a little uncertain about what that's all about. But nevertheless, it was posted on his channel. That's all that matters. I don't know where the statement came from that he decided to repost. It was obviously very directed to me and even Gilda. The expression, Barry, you know, when it rains, it pours. In your case, there's a storm. Torrential rains in your case. And I'll take opinions as to who you guys think actually wrote that. What is your opinion? The language, the writing. What is your opinion as to who actually wrote that? And be honest. Tell me what you think. Well, we know Barry didn't write that. But nevertheless, he didn't have to write that. He posted it on his channel as if he did. What do you have to say to that, Barry? Are you that much into self-punishment? You should be in a Guinness Book of Records for the person who inflicts the most self-punishment on himself, if there was such a category. Because you're doing a bang-up job of that. All right, I have to figure out how to fix my other phone here. I don't understand what updating. It says update, okay. And it brings you to Google Play. Don't get why it's doing this. Install on more devices. your details. I don't know. I can't figure it out. The kids have more brain cells than I do in regards to all this technical shit. They were born into this, you know. Okay, video player, so watch. Fuck, pretty incredible. Yeah, I just can't bring that up. Oh, what is that? Rice?
Biko.
Oh, that's Biko. I don't really get into. I don't get into Biko. Biko, can you say Biko? Biko. Okay, how do we do this? Biko. There we go. Biko. Have you guys ever tasted that? So that's basically rice with sugar and
Coconut milk.
coconut milk. Yeah. Of course I've tasted it, but it's not for me.
Sweet.
Very sweet.
Biko dokot.
Biko. I like the sound of it. Biko. Biko. I used to know this guy. His last name was Fico when we went to New York Institute of Technology. My friend Michael at the time, and we had this other student. His name was
Biko.
Michael Fico. No, his last name was Fico. And Michael would always say, Fico, Fico, always playing with his name, Fico. Well, this is Biko. Oh, that looks too rich for me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't need that much sugar this morning. I had a little bowl of cereal, what I had left of that. I had a bowl of cereal with that, but there's no protein in there other than the
Biko with coffee.
Biko with coffee. I thought you were going to take the bread out with your
No,
coffee.
not
I'm actually
Better.
shocked because you like to have, there's a lot of Filipinos do, they like to have bread with their coffee.
I eat that one. We bread last night. My dinner bread with bitter melon
With bread, with a bitter melon,
and quarter legs of chicken.
and the quarter legs of chicken. Yeah. Well, that's a meal. No, but that's a little rich for me. Take a look at this. This is called Biko. Biko. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, gosh. Don't have to.
Filipinos like this.
I know Filipinos love that. A little rich for me, man. Just too much sugar for my own needs of good. But I can't tell Filipinos how to eat. You know how that works.
I can't finish that one. Maybe this one only.
Yeah, have one, but don't have more than that.
No.
No. Yeah, a little too rich for my blood. No, I guess my cereal is enough. I usually want to have a protein with that, but I can't think of what the hell to make. Except eggs, and sometimes I get tired of eggs. I'm not really big on hard-boiled eggs, but I'd rather have them scrambled.
This one.
It's the yolk that gives it the flavor. It's not the white part of the egg, you know. Look at that. Yeah, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Yes, it is. And we're going to have we're going out for a buffet. We're going out for a buffet tomorrow. And we're going to go to a resort. See, I do that. We do that for each other. Valentine's Day is not like a thing for men to, you know,
My
honor
son's
their
birthday.
love with their woman. It's a mutual thing.
My son's birthday tomorrow.
And it's my son's birthday also tomorrow. So traditionally, every year we celebrate Valentine's Day and her son's birthday. He's going to be what, 14?
16.
No, it's Christian. It's Christian's birthday, not Kai's. That's right. He's going to be 15.
Hmm.
Man, he's getting up there, man. It's hard to just, absorb this, that me and her children have been in my life, for 9 years. I remember when her youngest was barely up to my knees, really. Boy, how time flies, I'm telling you. It's also scary how time flies. The years are going by. I'm watching them grow up in front of me. Well, I'm not their father, almost like their surrogate father, really, because they don't spend time with their dad except when they go to Cebu, which is not very often. So call me Dada Frank, I guess, but I never claimed to be the parent. Gilda's a parent to them. I'm just, I don't know, call it what you want, a surrogate parent or whatever, but they live under our roof, and I am not the disciplinarian here with them. I do have my say in certain things, of course, but it is not my total responsibility. Of course, have the right to remind them to do certain things or chores or whatever, but I will talk to them about things, but I don't go into big lectures with them at all. Uh, their mom has to be the disciplinarian, not me, but I do have the right to have some disciplinary function in this matter, but that's the way it is. Isn't that true, Gilda? I don't discipline the children. I kind of leave that up to you, although I do have my say in things.
Yeah.
Right.
But they said you can discipline also the kids because they live here together.
Yeah, I know I could, but I don't, I don't go way out on that. I will talk to them about things
Yeah.
if they haven't done a chore or
That
something.
mostly me.
Yeah. Well, you're the real parent, so
Yeah.
I mean it's your responsibility for that. I feel out of place with. I'm not trying to take the role of their real father because they have one real father, and I'm not their real biological father, but in a sense that they've been growing up around me in front of my eyes, and I've been part of their life for 9 years now. So they do look up to me as being kind of like a surrogate father in a way because they don't and haven't been spending much time with their biological father because they live a big distance away. So here I am, and basically it is like having children, and it is actually because they are children, and they do live in our house and around me and are part of the so-called family unit now. So you take on a role when you thought you'd never have children before or anymore, decide not to have children, all of a sudden you find yourself that becoming a senior, and you have a couple of kids that you're basically raising.
Yeah, but it's the big problem for them when the kids here.
What? The big problem for them is what? I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Dogs are waiting to eat here. And I don't mind at all. I mean, I feel totally comfortable. What were we saying about the big problem is what?
The YouTuber.
Oh,
Some people in YouTube is a problem because I got the kids here living with
yeah, they
me.
seem to have a problem that her kids are living here, some of the YouTubers she's saying. Well, first of all, it's actually none of their
And
business.
then they got a big problem because I have 8 kids.
Yeah, I don't know why that should be their problem. I mean,
Yeah, and then when their problems, they don't support me. They don't give me a dime.
right, it's not their problem. They're
Yeah,
not feeding the kids. It's not their responsibility. So they're bitching and whining about the fact of how many children she has. So she does. Yeah, she has 8 children. That would be correct. I know nobody's asking, but that would be correct. But 2 of them live here. and others visit when they can. They're welcome here. They always have been.
If no work, so they come here, and if no, my three kids in college, so if no school, they come here.
Yeah, and they're welcome here.
Yeah, then
I mean, I feel totally comfortable around their kids. Totally feel comfortable because they have become family. I've been involved in their lives for 9 years too, not just the two ones that are living here. So here I am at an older age and got a couple of kids living here that I'm helping raise, which I am. And then they'll bitch about, oh yeah, you got to put out money to her children for things like, well, actually, Gilda kind of handles that. You know, if they need a uniform or something for school,
yeah, I handle everything.
she handles everything with that. Her own kids, she does that. That comes out of her pocket. I mean, I help too, but generally it comes out of her pocket. Her kids need uniforms or whatever they need, you know, in regards to the new semester. They might need a little bit of money for.
The kids at school,
They're in
in
private.
college,
Which
yeah, in
yeah,
private,
they're in
yeah,
private
private.
schools too.
The one kids, the tuition is a 50,000 something, and then the other one
Per
per
semester.
semester, per
Yeah, it's fifty
semester,
thousand per semester
fifty
with
thousand
one of the
five
kids.
hundred
Fifty
something
thousand
for
five
what.
hundred.
Then the other one, and that one is the B is kuanto siya, nautical, and then the other one,
Going into nautical
yeah, and then the
career.
other one, the law student, you got same also 40
So
something.
let's. What was we have? Okay, she has one daughter that's a
Yeah,
CPR.
civil engineer.
Then one is studying to be a civil engineer.
Yeah, one the civil engineer, one is the for
For
lawyer,
lawyer, one wants to become a lawyer,
one for the nautical, the
and
marine
one's into
engineer.
nautical. Well, does he want to go into what? Engineering or
Yeah,
when you say nautical, it obviously has to do with
yeah,
working on a
yeah,
boat or something, and
both.
right on a ship. That could be any kind of possibility of being engineering or being part of the crew staff or something. But
Part of the course.
yeah, so they've all been in a good direction, every one of them. Even the other daughter actually was into actually accounting
And the one is the BSA, the accounting. The other one is the management accounting.
and management accounting. Another one, management accounting. So they're all in good direction. So the two that are living here, they're doing pretty well in school too. And the youngest one is very intelligent, and he's been getting.
The youngest one, they want to, you know what they like
What
to
does he
become
want?
pilot.
He wants to be a pilot. He's afraid of everything. He wants to be a pilot.
Yeah, they want to be
He
a
freaked
pilot.
out when he broke the mirror on the electric bike, you know, and he really wants to become a pilot, huh? Oh,
That's why the girlfriend father, the dad said, "Okay, you want to be a pilot, so how you landing the plane?"
now you can land the plane. Hey, whatever your endeavor is, we support it. See, that's a family. You understand, Robert and Barry? That's a family. Okay.
Then the girlfriend dad is a foreigner also.
Girlfriend, his little girlfriend's dad. But he spends so much time on
Yeah.
his phone. We never see him actually.
Sometimes she go there. She go there in the house, and then they will come also there.
She's never been here.
No, I know the girl.
Yeah.
They been here. They come here already.
That girl was here, his little girlfriend or whatever now?
Yeah, they come here during my birthday. They come here.
Oh, she was here?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't
they
remember
bring
when
that
I.
one up.
Kids growing up, kids growing up.
And then
He's at that age now,
the dad said it's better they know each other, so that's why it's better near than the far than just fixing or
Yeah, I
something.
know. Yeah. Well, yeah. And this youngest one here, he's actually quite intelligent, and
but
he's doing very well in
they
school,
need to guide.
honor student, and they've all done very well, and I'm really happy about that. See, these guys are going to have a future. These people are going to have, some of them already do. I mean, her oldest, that everybody lusts over on YouTube, her oldest daughter, um, very successful in being a certified public accountant. She works for a really good company. She gets to travel with this company. All expenses are paid, and
The first word my daughter is she become a manager, and then she resigned. So,
yeah, she first became a manager, then she
manager, she
resigned, and then she
resigned
went with this
because
other
yeah,
company.
because the salary is not growing up.
She
So
went for the
yeah,
bigger salary. Yeah.
because more work, and then the salary is more not high. So that's
Yeah,
why.
she doesn't have a bad position. She gets to travel with the other members of the company, and they go to meetings and so forth. And she's yet to go to America. I think that's going to be happening too,
But
to make a
now
trip. But
my daughter company is from US.
yeah, the company's actually from U.S.
From
So yeah,
US.
they're doing very well. They're doing very well. I guess I'm doing pretty well being a kind of a parental guide here too. When you lose something in your family, you gain in another. That's the way it is with me. I may not talk to my daughter, but I regained a family. That's all that matters. Family is family, whether they're blood or not. Of course, Barry doesn't see things that way. How could they be your family? They're not your blood. Yeah, he doesn't get it. I mean, my dogs are my family. They're not my blood. They're my family. They're absolutely my family. There is absolutely no question about that. No question. Family is a bonding between people. It doesn't mean blood. And just because I don't talk to my daughter, you may consider it a loss, but there's always a there's always a gain somewhere along the line where you lose one member of the family for whatever reason, it don't matter. You gain otherwise. So there you go. I'm not without a family. But people like Barry doesn't have anybody in his family supporting him at all. And I don't mean financially, but that too. They're not helping him. Who's helping? Not even his girlfriend's family is helping. They don't want to stand behind Barry. They don't want to stand behind him. He always makes all these claims that his family loves him and everything. If they loved him that much, why aren't they chipping in some money for bail or something in there? And that so-called family loved him so much. And the dad loves him. Oh, the dad loves him. And as I said, I believe her dad doesn't speak a word of English. So, go figure. Anyway, that's Barry. We're talking about Barry, of course. I mean, what do you expect? Some truth to come out of his mouth? He's just not going to hear that. Okay, well, the dialogue seemed to have died down. You just like listening to my wonderful voice. And of course, I've satisfied another day for Robert, who's probably jacking off while I'm talking on here. What, you think that would surprise me? You might think that is a funny comment, but you actually would think that I would not think of something like that? I mean, the guy is no scruples. He's lonely, and he's miserable, and he's bitter. Now, we have finally figured out, well, not that you guys couldn't figure this out on your own. However, in the Waffle Man's situation, I think we have pretty much come to a conclusion that everything that's going on with him is pure projection. That has become, over time, so obvious to me. And if you haven't been able to figure it out yourself, there it goes. Like I'm saying, and I said yesterday, and hold on a second. Well, like I said yesterday um, on a show, that we have a good understanding of what happened with him in his childhood. And again, I also said, although Barry claims I'm making fun of what happened to him in his childhood, I'm not making fun. Again, I'm not making fun of that at all. I don't think it was think it was cool. It was pretty sad on his upbringing. That explains why he's so bitter. It explains his demeanor. It explains why he's in and out of trouble all his life. This is kind of a hard thing to kick off when one of your parents was abusive with you, or both of them. I don't know. I know of one, his dad, he claimed, but it still does not exonerate him from the shit that he's done. On one hand, you can feel sorry, some might, that he had a horrible upbringing in his family. We know we all have bugaboos in our family. They're not perfect. I definitely find some dysfunction in certain family members I had, but you know, I did not grow up to be another Barry. I'm not anything like him at all, in any form or way, mind you. I managed to navigate my way in life through the years, schooling, everything. Whether you think I'm a scholar or not, I managed to get through the system. I managed to graduate. I managed to put my life together in one form or way or another. I had the capability of doing so, and I did such. I made my own decisions. When I had plans, I'd put them together and I would execute my plans. And I've done this all my life. If I said I was going to do something, I did it. My endeavors, maybe they didn't happen overnight necessarily, but when I put my mind to something and I plan something, I tend to go through with it. I could adjust to practically any situation, really. You know, let's just say, play devil's advocate here, whatever. That I had to go move out of this country voluntarily or otherwise. It's just another adventure. Because as long as I have my partner by my side, I'm happy. And, keeping in mind, in effect, with the COVID thing, I was away from her for about a year and 2 months. That was a pretty long time, as far as I'm concerned. But we kept in touch. But if such nature of the beast happened, she'd relocate. It doesn't matter where we live. It's what matters is that we're together. That's what matters to me. And if it meant we had to sell the house and have plenty of money, would work out fine. She could always make trips to the Philippines to see her family, her friends, and so forth. Although maybe I won't might be not be able to go to the Philippines. To me, it's just another adventure if something of that nature happened. Start a new chapter. How many chapters have I started already? I mean, it was a big move. For me to move out of New York at the time, I was 28 or so. I don't know what age it was at the time. So spent 20 years of my life, born and raised in New York, very proud of that. Then my venture went to another endeavor, and that was Washington State, where I spent practically a lifetime. To some people, I spent 25 to 26 years. But it didn't stop there. Then I went to Hawaii for approximately, 14 years or so. Then now here in the Philippines for approximately 9 years. Some people argue that figure, but no, it's been 9 years. Okay, if you want to take away 1 year, because I was in Hawaii at the time, taking care of the house and taking care of all that business going on. But nobody fled Hawaii. Nobody fled Hawaii. When the pearly gates of the Philippines opened again during that COVID period of time, and I had all my vaccinations and everything, and the Philippines opened up its gates, I took advantage of that. Nobody ran away from court. Nobody ran away from Hawaii. They simply allowed people to come back into the Philippines again. And I didn't know if that was going to change or not. So when it was available, I went. And as far as the court shit, I didn't run away from court. I appeared on camera. But because it wasn't scheduled, they had to make a default judgment. A default judgment means that you weren't there in person. And whether or not the parties involved were guilty or not, it didn't matter. They came to a resolution. It's called the default judgment. In other words, someone like myself was not able to present evidence. That's how it worked. It's called the default judgment. Still, it was a judgment, yeah, but it was a default judgment. That means it was not based on the reliability of any information that they presented. Default. It's a little different than a straightforward judgment based on trial, based on having your turn to introduce your evidence. It was a default judgment, just to note that. Default. And boy, they've been riding with that on YouTube. They've been, especially Barry, riding with that. No, nobody ran away from Hawaii. But getting back to the point being made, before I interjected with this little extra information, I made my own decisions and I executed my decisions, moving from point A to point D, whatever. Even spent a little bit of time in, not very long, but I spent a little bit of time in Alaska working there too. So I've had the wonderful opportunity to be born and raised in New York for 28 years of my life, and then about a quarter of a century in Washington State, and then to Hawaii for about, like I said, about 14 years, and then the Philippines, approximately 9 years. You know, we could call it 8 because I spent a year of that, but me and my partner were still a team, no matter where I was. I never broke up, in communication all the time. So is it feasible to live in another country if I was forced to, as an example? Yeah. I can adapt to changes. Not everybody can do that. You make lemonade out of lemons. It's not a death sentence if something like that happened. I'd prefer to stay in the Philippines, of course. But if something did happen and go down where I couldn't, my life is not over because of that. It's just a new beginning. And she's so supportive that if we had to sell the house, we'd make a ton of money. And we'd live very comfortably in whatever country I would decide to live in. So if in the event that did happen, I've got my bases covered. I don't expect that to happen, but if it did, then it's just business as usual. Nothing I'm not used to. I moved, I lived in, 4 different places? No, New York, Washington, Hawaii, and the Philippines. So 4 different places I lived in for a significant amount of time. It's just a new adventure. Take it as such, and you move on. As long as we have each other, and she has the ability to see her family, or them come to visit her, we're all good. So I don't know. People think that would be a severe punishment for me. It's really according to how you look at it. It'd be a different story if my partner was not solidly behind me. Then that would be a whole different scenario. It would be like a punishment, but that's not going to be the case if it was. Just to kind of make that clear. Real punishment is when you don't have a solid, actual loving partner. like Popeye or Barry, and he had to be put into such a situation. Yeah, that would be horrific. But my partner would not abandon me, my girlfriend of 9 years, just celebrate our ninth anniversary together when some said it would never happen. But like I said, it ain't about money, it ain't about the house. If that's all it was, if she wasn't tuned into me as well as she is and wanted to be with me, then there's ample opportunity to kick me on my ass out of the house if there really was no love involved or anything like that or a connection, and have me go on my way and she goes on her way. She just has every ability and opportunity to done so all through these years, but she chooses to be with me. That's all that matters. Okay, well, the dialogue is basically on listening mode now. Popeye needs to do his little soliloquy, so let me let him do his little speech again. I'm glad I add something to your life, Robert. I'm really happy about that because I definitely have a really good picture of what your life is all about. Been listening to you for how many years now? I've made my own assessments about Robert a long time ago. He continues to prove me right that he's just a lonely old man who just looks forward to bingo and occasionally going to the casino with his cyst and sits there and makes these little skits to occupy his time and sits there doing simulcasts of my show, which I think is really extremely pathetic in every way. But now comes the time that he has to make his little 10 minutes of any kind of rebuttaling or anything going on, what I'm saying on the simulcast. He always comes up with something to say about something. So we give him that opportunity. But if you had to label anybody as really being hateful and bitter with his life, I would have to say, and although you think it's Barry, and he's on that list, of course, but I think the number one person on here, if I consider all and historically, he's probably the most bitter person on here, and I don't think anybody would disagree with me on that. That's why he spends so much time waiting for me to do a show. He could simulcast it and put his own comments in because he can't do a show on his own unless he has somebody specific to talk about. Kind of like Barry's situation. But Barry does not have the ability to carry a show on his own. He doesn't have the intellect to do so. I like to use that name, orator. He's not a good orator. Roberto was like that too. Roberto could never carry on a show unless Popeye or Aloe or somebody was a guest on there. He could never run a show on his own. He did not have that ability to do so. He's never had that ability. And what did happen to Roberto? That's a good question too. They're being so quiet about it. I'm sure as hell that Popeye and Aloe and others know what's going on with him. It's being unspoken because Roberto would just not get off YouTube unless something happened, whether he's either dead or his wife put her boots to the ground on him. Something went down because Roberto would always be out there with a show, even if it's just a title, just to try to bait me or harass me or something. There would always be something on there. Something went down apparently with Roberto. Either he finally croaked or I don't know, or his wife took some disciplinary action on his ass. I don't know. Because Roberto don't get bored of coming on YouTube, and he would have been on. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't come on here under, you know, sock account names and make all these comments. And he could be one of the regular trolls on here that make all these comments. And I think the chance of that being true, I think it's a pretty high chance of that being true. I mean, look, Popeye goes under different aliases. I guarantee you on that. We know Barry does, and I'm sure as hell Popeye does. It's not like you got this big army of people that are, instead of being pro Frank, being con Frank. It's just that they have multiple sock accounts. They try to make it look like there's an army of people that are against me, but that's not true. I don't buy it. There's just a handful of people, a handful that go under sock account names. That's all it really is. Okay, I'm out of here. Now you go listen to Popeye's little soliloquy. It's your turn, Popeye. Have something intelligent to say, if that's even possible. And again, Barry's posting on his channel. It's been copied. It ain't going anywhere. Whoever was trying to help Barry did not help him at all with that. I will tell you that much. And Barry, if you had any half brains at all, would realize by posting that, being the dummy that he is, that this is not going to work for him. Having somebody else express their opinion and he posted as if it's his own posting, that was on the list of some of the dumbest things he's done. And I lost count of all the dumb shit he's done on his own channel voluntarily. So the future for Barry, I think it's already written as far as I'm concerned. My main thing is getting a little more evidence out on him when it comes time for my testimony. We'll see what happens with that. And I will even do it involuntary. I mean, well, actually, whether they going to ask me to introduce this or not, I will speak out of turn if I have to, just to get that information out to the judge. But we'll do it legally and have it be allowable. And if he's working on his freedom, he's been working against himself the whole damn time. How smart is that? Like I said, Barry, you're doing this all to yourself, man. Don't keep on voicing your opinion about I did this to you, and I did that to you. Try to get it through your thick skull that you did this all to yourself. All of it. And you continue to do so. Which tells me that your psychology is like way off. That there's something wrong with you. Entirely wrong with you. As I said, I don't know everything that happened with his dada. We know some things that happened to him, but was he beat up too in the head? What happened to damage his fucking brain? Oh, it is an easy statement to make that there's something wrong with his brain because although Popeye hates that word demonstration, I'll say it because it bothers him. By Barry's own demonstration, absolutely. There's nothing illegal about saying that. What he says and does on his show is public. That means he's demonstrating. So I can make these statements about him, having question about his mental stability or instability. It's perfectly fine and legal. That's my observation. And it's been publicly heard. So the consensus of opinion is that he's definitely got some issues. I don't think anybody would argue me on that. Okay, Papa, your turn. I got some shit to do here, so let me get out of here. And what was I going to add to this? Oh, yeah, good old Brevis. You know, Drew, it's definitely going to come a time where, payment is due with you. I know you've been behind the scenes of a whole lot of shit out there. You're probably the one responsible for getting these poor Filipinos to come to the house expecting rice and money. That was hitting pretty below the belt to the Filipino people, not to me. It was hitting below the belt to these people in the country that you decided to live to and you fled to because of all the trouble you had in California. I mean, you're together with a Filipino and you got a child as such from that person. You don't respect the culture. You've proved that time and time again. You don't. Like I said, I use an example. The other woman that he impregnated, who knows how many others, I don't know, maybe he's got an open relationship or something. That's their business. If that's been decided between them two, whether she don't care, and as long as she supports her, maybe she's happy. I don't know. Maybe they have an arrangement. And that's okay if they do. But sometimes you have to take responsibility. Like the other girl that he impregnated, and unfortunately she lost a baby. And I've posed that question on here several times. Did he have even the decency to support this woman while she was pregnant and help her out? I don't think so. Did he have the decency to show any condolences? Did he have the decency to help her out with any funeral arrangements for the was either unborn, died unborn, or died born after born? Did he have the decency to help this woman out? I don't believe he did, because that's the kind of person Brevis is. I mean, that's getting on a scale of being as low life as the other guy is, maybe even more in different ways, though. These are the kind of people that we're dealing with on here. They all are either sociopaths or psychopaths, some kind of mania, borderline personality disorders, and they all flock to YouTube. Isn't that amazing?
All right, what did we learn? Oh, I think we learned that he really likes to brag about Jimmy Jennison's children. That's one thing we've learned. Oh, uh, we've also learned that his narcissistic behavior knows no bounds. Okay. And anything anybody does that's against him is criminal. Uh, Frank, the low life, stooping as low as anyone could go. Now I can go out and see what the winter storm did and decide McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, or Jimmy John's. Get a Jimmy John. Get a Jimmy John. Yeah, I like Jimmy John's. Uh, I just ate at Jimmy John's, Steve. Highly recommend it. See, Chris knows what he's talking about. But that's what we learn, okay? And he sounded depressed there when he said, I'm not going to do a monologue anymore. Um, I'm just going to go quiet. And then he picked up, saying all kinds of terrible things about me, which I thoroughly enjoy. I want to thank you very much, Frank. That was very kind of you to say all those beautiful things about me. And this is what this guy does. Everything's Barry, Barry, Barry. Just like Masha, Masha, Masha. Turkey avocado. That sounds good, Chris Cato, man. That sounds good. But, you know, last night's show, he threatened, literally threatened Shah on her birthday. What a guy. I mean, ooh, you couldn't ask for a better guy than that. But, guys, we're in a wait and see pattern whether he gets thrown out. I've been reading a lot of the comments, and one comment I read where it sounds like Frank is setting the table for leaving the Philippines. Oh, if he has to leave the Philippines, just make sure you let everybody know he's selling the house and that he has to leave the Philippines. That way, whoever buys it can get it at a good price. There's another way to fuck him over. And I think he's also realizing that I'm telling the truth. That it was Drew Naughty, Richard Jarrett, and the Bogan who fucked him over with Shaw. I keep telling him, Barry is a retarded hillbilly. Leave him alone. Attacking someone over a miscarriage. Frank has to be one of the lowest forms of life on YouTube. Exactly. This is what narcissists do. They try to attack your credibility so other people don't like you. All right? They try to fling shit on you and see if it'll stick. And, you know, that's what they do. Gilda will be pawning the house as soon as Frank feet leave the ground. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think yes, Jimmy eventually strike back. Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's over for him. I see him going back to the United States and living in an assisted living place. That's what I see. And, times are changing in the United States. It's not going to be easy to get assistance anymore. You're going to have to actually prove you need it. And my God, when they run your credit and they see you owe all that fucking money, there's another point of contention, the Hawaii case. This guy will turn around and call everybody a coward because they left YouTube or came back or whatever, right? But here's two of the most cowardice things he ever did. He got really nervous the first time somebody drove by his rental place there in Philippines and started taking video. He got really nervous when he moved into this place, put a CCTV cam out. He watches it all day, more than likely. That's pretty fucking cowardice. All right. Here's another cowardice thing. When you don't show up for court and stick up for yourself, they accused him of many things. All right. But in his mind, it was a judgment because he did not they got the judgment because he did not show up. Well, you're sitting here arguing with a retarded hillbilly over being called a pedophile, for which you are, and yet you didn't show up for court in Hawaii. You ran like a little bitch, and they got 60,000. You owe them 60K. I mean, how come you didn't stick up for yourself? How come you didn't show up with lawyers? Why wasn't there 3-hour live streams on how innocent you were? Please let us know all that. We would love to know all that. I don't know. We all seen that that girl that had teeth like Ricky. I seen that girl, man. And I can't bag on Filipinas like that. It's even hard for me to bag on Gilda, even though she's the Arby's roast beef gal, you know? So can anybody help me out? Where was his pride? Where was his righteousness? Where was his search for justice when he was accused of all this and given court dates to show up but never showed? Instead, Aloe de Winter showed up. I mean, come on, man. Frank, you can't call anybody a coward, okay? Because, Frank, here's another cowardice thing you did. You went to college and come out with a 1.58 GPA, which is failing. You don't have a bachelor's. You lied about that. And you stayed in college for 8 years doing jack shit because you didn't want to go to Vietnam. There's another cowardice act that this guy did. This is all by his, as he would say, his demonstration. Uh, I mean, this guy is fucking hilarious. He was below the Mendoza line. uh, would that be the fifth bankruptcy? Yeah, yeah. I mean, so you guys are right. He is setting the table for leaving Philippines. I think he knows it's inevitable, which is kind of funny. Look at the divorced men that chat whose wives left them speaking about Gilda leaving Frank, laughing my ass off. Okay, country road. Gilda's not going to leave Frank. You're wrong about that. Gilda's going to hold on to Frank till he gets kicked out. There's nothing to leave. See? They're not married. She's married to somebody else. Okay? Oh, man. LOL. I'm having a wife leaves. It's a bad thing. Ha ha ha. I mean, I mean, so there we go. That's what we learned today, you know, by Frank's own demonstration. I you got to be a real tough guy to pick on a retarded hillbilly who has no fucking money. even even without your case, Frank, that motherfucker would still be sitting in that cell, right? And if they never picked him up, he'd have probably been dead by now because of his dump truck mouth and his hummingbird ass. Okay. So, Frank, you're wasting all this money, but I understand why you can't let it go. It's called OCD. Okay. You have OCD. Most people who take benzodiazepine, Lexapro, Xanax, they have OCD. And you are not going to be happy unless everything's in order and he's in a jumpsuit. And I don't really think you're going to get that. I think you're going to get kicked out first. I think they're going to get rid of both of you at the same time. Maybe Frank and Bummer can share a bachelor pad in LA, Lower Alabama. That's a good one, Mike. I like that. Oh, man. But it is what it is, man. All right, so I've had my little soliloquy. Thank you, Frank. I mean, you're so kind to let me speak. And Frank, don't get so pissed off because I simulcast you. Come on, Frank. We just want that shit to stay up. Hey, if Frank was as brave as he pretends to be, he would leave his live streams up. So next time you go over there and troll him, ask him why he doesn't leave his live streams up. Okay, Gilda will milk that 1300 p.m. to death and possibly beyond. Yeah, Mr. Mojo Rising. Frank will be back shortly. He only stopped as his battery died. All right. So, guys, I'm out of here, man. I want to thank Mojo Rising, Steve 25901, Chris Cato, Don C. We had the Bobsy channel in here. Uh, S. Simulacron was in here. Mike Dowdy, Scott was here. Wow, who else was here? My. Chris Cato, Chris Travels, Mike Luna, Don C. Man, all you guys come in tonight. Holy crap on a crap. Scott Expat in the Philippines. Man, I want to thank all you guys for coming in. Uh, it was nice chatting with you in the live chat, and it was nice having a little chit chat with you. Okay, so you have a good night. Stay out of trouble. Do what you got to do, and also enjoy your Jimmy Johns. This is Popeye One. I'm out of here.